All right, I'm here with Andrew Biro again, the spokesperson for the faculty union, and it's day 12 of the strike, and contract negotiations broke down. I'm wondering if you could give an update.
Yeah, we were in negotiations for, I guess, almost a week. They started on Wednesday of last week and ended on last night, Monday. Made some very limited progress, I think, on a few non-monetary issues, but as progress was just really slow. So our team came in yesterday and really looking to kickstart negotiations as we're getting into the third week of the strike, and as people are getting, I guess, more and more anxious. So we offered to the Board of Governors team to agree on a mediator that could come in and try and help us reach an agreement. The board's team refused that, and so now this morning we've asked the Provincial Ministry of Labour to step in and impose a mediator.
Now, I know the Board of Governors would agree to the mediator if you guys agree to go back to work. Is that something you guys are considering?
No, we're not considering that. I mean, the Board of Governors team has been dragging these negotiations out. We started on May 1st, which is now almost 6 months ago. So they really don't seem to have any interest in getting a settlement in any kind of quick fashion that would preserve quality education in Acadia. If we went back to work, then unfortunately that's the only leverage that we have that we would be giving up, and they would just be able to drag their feet even more. So it would be even longer, maybe indefinitely, before we could get a contract that would preserve quality education here.
Now, students are getting concerned, of course. It's getting pretty serious right now. Is there a chance we're going to lose the semester?
Well, that's up to the University Senate to decide when that happens. There have been a number of longer strikes at Canadian universities where the semester hasn't been lost. I think it's important for students to realize that. But we are concerned about that. So, I mean, certainly I'm hearing from students and from their parents about anxiety, about losing the term. And that's why we're trying to get negotiations completed as quickly as possible. That's why we're trying to get a mediator in here.
Okay, you spent a little bit of time at York about 4 or 5 years ago when they went through a pretty long strike.
Yeah.
And yet the semester wasn't lost, although they missed, 55 days?
That's right. It was a little bit more than 4 or 5 years ago. It was actually in, I think, 1997 when faculty were on strike for 55 days. I was a graduate student there at the time. So the strike lasted almost 2 months, and they came back with a compressed end of term, finished the term, everybody got credit for their work.
So who knows what could happen here, eh?
Exactly. I mean, obviously it's not the ideal situation. We'd like, obviously, to be back in classes much sooner than that, but things like that can happen.
All right, well, thank you so much again, eh?
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Scott Roberts, it's a busy day for you today with a lot of interviews. I'm just wondering what happened yesterday.
Well, we talked to the Faculty Association, and we had a meeting set up for the afternoon, and we were hopeful, frankly, that we could get to a point where we could get an offer put before the membership of the Faculty Association. We asked the Faculty Association if it would consider taking we had a very comprehensive deal there, all of the articles, so we're prepared to put it together, take it to the Faculty Association for a membership vote, and they refused to do that. Instead, they wanted to seek conciliation, or pardon me, mediation through the province, and we were concerned that was going to take a long time to set up, and so, we left yesterday. We left each other with a differing point of view on what the next step should be.
One would argue that not agreeing to go to the mediator is actually taking more time. If a mediator was to be brought in today or as soon as possible, wouldn't that ultimately help and speed up the process?
If a mediator can be brought in on a very short timeline and very quickly, then frankly the university is quite amenable to that. There was no indication yesterday that would be the case. We have been in contact, or we've been contacted by the province after the Faculty Association asked for the appointment of a mediator. We've told the province that we're anxious to get this going. We're anxious to get to a point where we can reach a settlement as quickly as possible. So if those parameters can be met, or if that kind of timeline can be met, then we're amenable to mediation. But we all need to understand the urgency of getting this going and reaching a deal.
Does that include the stipulation of the faculty having to go back to work?
Not necessarily. We were concerned yesterday that the appointment of a mediator would take some considerable period of time, and each day that time passes, students are out of class, and we're quite concerned about that. So, if we can get a mediator that is sympathetic to the timelines that I think we both have, I think the Faculty Association is anxious to draw this to a close as well. I mean, if we can work urgently, then that's a good outcome.
And would a mediator settle this?
Mediation in this particular case is non-binding, so it's not guaranteed that a mediator would settle it, and that's always one of the risks here. In fact, a risk for both sides is that it is non-binding, but hopefully a mediator may very well be able to find some commonalities that will work for us.
There was a thing mentioned on the blog about compensation being returned to students for second semester. Can you touch on this?
Well, the issue, we hear this a lot, and we've heard it from students, we hear it from others. It's a big question, obviously, and one that's on the minds of many people, and frankly, the only answer at this point in time is we need to get to an agreement first. We need to determine when classes are going to resume, and so there are a lot of things that need to be dealt with and understood before we can reach that point.
Okay, so it's not, and nothing's being agreed to.
Correct.
At this point.
That would be correct. It's an idea, and it's not a new one. It's an idea, but frankly, there are so many other things that need to be dealt with. The
latest offer that was just put forth, is that public information?
Yeah, it is. It's been posted to the university's Human Resources website. I believe it's hyperlinked under collective bargaining, so it's available on the HR website.
Okay, and that is what was recently turned down.
That was it wasn't turned down by the membership. It's important to understand it wasn't turned down by the membership. It's never been presented to the membership. That is what the university's bargaining team and all the articles that have both been signed off with the Faculty Association bargaining team. Those articles that have, in the language of labor negotiations, have been initialed, and those articles that have been offered but have not been accepted and signed off on. So it contains absolutely everything that would appear in what we would propose to be the 12th collective agreement. Okay, well, thank you so much, Scott.
Hello again. I'm just wondering why the last offer wasn't brought to a vote.
Well, our members gave us an overwhelming mandate to the negotiating team in September when they authorized a strike vote to get the kind of contract that we're asking for. The board's offer has not really made enough significant changes that we felt it was appropriate to bring it to a vote. It's still the same offer, basically, that we rejected in September, and still the same offer that we rejected in June. You could also ask why the board hasn't been brought our proposals for a vote.
Okay, and I'm wondering if a mediator was to be brought in, could this happen very quickly?
We would hope that it could happen quickly. I can't really say for sure. We've asked the province to step in and appoint a mediator. I don't know how quickly the Minister of Labour can or will move on that. We're hoping it's sooner rather than later. And if we can agree on an independent mediator who can come in quickly, that would be great too.
All right, well, hopefully someone's out there is listening that would be willing to step in.
Great.
I'm just wondering who you are.
My name's Rob Gordon, and I'm with CBC Television.
Okay, I'm just wondering, you've been covering this story for a little while. What makes this an interesting story?
Well, it's a labor strike. I've covered lots and lots of those before. In fact, I've been on strike and in a lockout situation in the past. But, there's always the issues about who's affected here. There's really, I guess, 3 or 4 parties. There's the students, there's the faculty, there's the administration, and then there's the town itself, which in some ways depends on the university for economic health and well-being. So really there's 4 groups here that have a direct stake in this.
What's the reach of this story right now? Is it going national? Is it all over the place?
No, I think it's gone national on Newsworld, the CBC Newsworld. It hasn't really, I don't think, hit the national news yet with Peter Mansbridge, but it has been a local story and a regional story for sure.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.